called, and what I'm learning from this is that, and this is the download that I received, that this intelligence that was reignited on the planet is beginning to learn us again as it knew us in the past. This intelligence is a feminine energy, okay? It is a feminine energy, a powerful feminine energy that
this is how you know it was us first, because before it was considered reservations. What were they called? Concentration camps. Before concentration camps, they were called public labor camps.
Labor camp.
Did we see any Native Americans go through so-called slavery? Because that's the land that they're talking about. Were they on the plantations? No. These people are brand new. They just got here. And you can't trace Native American to American Indian by way of paperwork. That's a brand new term that just started in the 1970s. I put that out there too. The first time that you heard the term Native American was from the Native American Party, the Know Nothings, the third largest political party during the time period of the Federalists and the Whigs. They were fighting for rights then as foreigners. So that's why I tell people to stop calling yourself Native, because that has nothing to do with you. You're indigenous to this land. You're not a visitor. This is how you know it was us first.
Next 1 to 3 years are the pivot point.
Of the planet. Only you know if you've been doing your own inner work. Only you know if you've shifted timelines. If you don't start dealing with your shit right now, and as in your shit, I mean your trauma, your baggage, your vibration, healing. If you don't start dealing with that, you're going to be going through a looping cycle of suffering. I'm not here to instill fear in anyone. Light people, the mass on what's going on in the world, going through a death and a rebirth. We're literally shedding the old versions of ourselves and becoming the new versions of ourselves. And so is the earth.
Going through a spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical reset. All right, so during this time, you could be feeling very emotional. You feel what I'm saying? It could be a lot going on. It could be some days you feel like you're like, and some days you feel like, you feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you could be feeling overwhelmed, and you could be having very strong feelings and be getting to the root of these feelings. For example, you could be having a strong love for someone and finding out depths of that love, you feel what I'm saying? And finding out why you feel like you want to cry right here. And you know what I'm saying? You just maneuver through this field of emotions and feelings and thoughts as well. These thoughts that are connected to these feelings and these thoughts that make feelings come up. And then there's things in your physical reality that's no longer satisfying you. You feel what I'm saying? It may be things that you used to like doing that you don't even feel like doing no more. You feel what I'm saying? Like you just like, I don't even feel like doing it. So you rather just chill and just do. You feel what I'm saying? You may be feeling like doing nothing as well. Well, all of this is happening because of a big transition is taking place. You feel what I'm saying? Everything is in your reality is shifting internally and externally. You feel what I'm saying? You finna emerge as a new person. You feel what I'm saying? You finna feel different about certain things. You finna see things different. You're about to speak different. You feel what I'm saying? You're about to look different. Look, this is proof for me. Cause look, go look at my older videos I made earlier this year. Not even this year in 2023. I realized my face look different. I look different. You feel what I'm saying? The way my face is, I look different. But I'm also getting older at the same time. But I look different. You feel me? My voice sounds different. I talk about different things. I come on here with a different manner, a different demeanor. You feel what I'm saying? I'm more calm, more relaxed. You feel what I'm saying? I used to speak very passionately when I used to talk, which was good. You feel what I'm saying? But you can see that everything I'm talking about is causing an emotional effect on me. But this ain't about me. This ain't about me. This is about this. But look, we're going through changes, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, during this time, just have patience with yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Release what you got to release. I can even say try these things feel good. Just don't even run from the emotions. Fuck trying to feel good. You feel what I'm saying? Just get through the pain, get through all the suffering, get through everything. You get through the chaos, get through all of this because it's gonna help you get to the other side. You feel what I'm saying? Be grateful for this journey, even if it's a painful journey. Be grateful for this journey because it's growth. And the more you be grateful for it and pay attention to it, the more information you'll get from it, the more growth you'll get from it, and the quicker it'll be. Don't even try to worry about trying to enjoy things and this and that. You feel what I'm saying? Don't worry about trying to get happiness and fulfillment right now because it's gonna come in due time. But first,
see the price tag is usually like $4.99, $10.99, $9.99. One thing's for sure, it damn sure ain't random. It's psychology and numerology. 9 is the number of closure, completion. It seals the deal. As of lately, the number 9 is all around us. Spirit been showing us forever just how important the number 9 is. Baby's birth cycle is considered complete at how many months? 9. Some don't always make it to 9, or some even go past 9. However, again, to be considered complete, 9 is the number. That's real completion. When a cycle closes, a new one has to begin. Now, tomorrow is a 999 day. Very special day for me because it's my solar return. It's triple closure energy, so that means a lot of karmic loops are ending. Many contracts are dissolving. Think of it like Spirit telling you this chapter is done and you cannot carry this baggage into the next level. I know a lot of people say 9, 11, 11, 8, 8. Those all man-made dates. It's a trap. They don't mean anything. And I'm not going to lie, the universe do not care about calendars. But it does respond to vibration. And numbers are vibration. Now, when you have millions of people focused
or something like that. The Akashic record is here. And when you develop enough personal power and your consciousness raised to a level, then you have access to all of that information that's literally thousands and hundreds of thousands of years old. So we have access to that. That's why meditation is so important. Why don't they teach meditation in school? Because they don't want you getting in touch with no ancestors. They don't want you getting in touch with information that they don't know.
And this message here is all about the mission to stop the reset. That was mission. And this happened long time ago. So brothers, you have to realize that we are celestial bodies. We're celestial beings. And this planet to the next level of existence. All right. To bring an entire realm or planet to a fifth dimensional a fifth dimensional energy is something extremely powerful.
the best way to control people is first control the minds of the children, fill their minds with fictitious nonsense. So by the time they reach adulthood, they can then pass that on to their children. Then this cycle becomes generational. They decided that wasn't enough. So in the 1940s and 50s, they import Nazi scientists and psychologists into the country, giving them sanctuary and citizenship and allowing them to infiltrate government and media. Why? Because these neo-Nazi scientists had mastered the art of propaganda and deception. Matter of fact, they ran one of the greatest propaganda and deception campaigns that Germany had ever seen. The U.S. deep state and shadow government knew that in order to maintain control over the U.S. population, they needed to implement propaganda and deception and minimize free thought at all costs. So they infiltrated two main sources of the U.S. population's information: U.S. News and Hollyweird. So now whatever Dan Rather, Walter Cronkite, or any other news outlet tells you, that has to be your truth. Whatever actor or actress are the greatest brainwashing techniques the world has ever seen: tell, lie, vision, or the one-eyed devil, which contains mind manipulation, sorcery, and hypnotism. So now when you see a crisis actor get shot on TV, well, it has to be real. Died. I mean, whatever CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, ABC, CBS, NBC says, it has to be real, right? Nah, us critical thinkers realize that that one-eyed devil, the tell, lie, vision, is actually symbolic of the dog that leads the sheep. And since most sheep have been trained to rely on the media instead of practicing critical thinking and doing research themselves, they'll never know that what I'm saying right now is true. Just keep in mind that whenever you rely on your enemy to save you, historically, that rarely works in your favor. But then again, most of you have been brainwashed into believing that you have no enemy. Therein lies the problem.
So our parents
named Columbus discovering a new land. But what really happened in 1492 was the intentional rerouting of the Earth's memory bed. 1492 wasn't just about boats and maps. It was about severing flame holders from their lands, languages, star alignments, and ancestral timelines. What they don't tell you is 1492 was a global ritual, a cold year when multiple empires agreed to erase indigenous sovereigns from the map. Rewrite the heavens through false calendar overlays, replace cosmic navigation with colonizer geography, baptize flame children into slave codes through renaming and paper sealing, spread the false Holy Land narrative while burying the original ones under Vatican archives. 1492, yeah, the official start of the time lock spell. The spiritual chains started there. Not on slave ships, but in encoded declarations. You stopped identifying as a people of the sky and earth. You were rebranded as property. The ancestors were recoded as myth. The Christos flame was replaced with church control. And just like that, the original timeline was buried beneath fake borders, fake scriptures, and fake fucking gods. 1492 wasn't conquest, it was panic. A lost ditch timeline hijacked to delay the rise of the ones who were never supposed to forget. But you didn't forget. That's why you're reading this now or hearing this now. Ashay.
understand what's happening.
She is an analogous. Peace to all the divine primordial deities. I am not here for the dead. I am only here for the awakened. If it resonate, let it marinate. If it don't apply, let it fly. Now let's get deep. Who is Abraxas? Let's talk about it. Abra means mother of many. Abraxas is also presented as being the Logos, which is the divine principle that is the source of all creation. Abra is mother, the supreme deity from whom all divine entities emanate. Logos in Greek means word, which is also connected to the Heka. And the Heka is divine speech, which was also in the beginning. Now, who is the word? We is the word that became flesh. Now, understand, everything started with the feminine. Let's read John chapter 1, verse 1. And let's break it down metaphysically. It says, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God. That's with the great mother. And the word was her. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by her, not him. And without her was not anything made that was made. In her was life. Understand, the woman is who carry life, not him. So let's go back. In her was life, and that life was the light of man. And that light that was in her is talking about the divine spark that deals with consciousness, or what they call the Christ consciousness that John had to bear witness of. So understand, we are Abraxas, and Abraxas is the Logos, which is none other than the word that became flesh, which is man. So understand, in the Bible where it stated that life was in her, and that life became the light of men, that is talking about the divine spark. So understand, Sophia, which is the feminine figure, she is an analogous of the soul. She represents your higher self. And the light of man is the light in man, which is that divine spark, which is the soul. Inside the cosmic womb, chaos, right, which represents the feminine. Inside that cosmic womb was the prophecy, was the word that became man, which is us. So all these stories, all of these riddles in the Bible, which is your parables, that cannot just be read straight through. They are riddles. And this is why Christ spoke in parables, because riddles are supposed to be solved. They're mysteries, they are puzzles that requires careful thought and interpretation to solve. Christ employed parables to teach profound spiritual truths. So when it comes to these parables, you just can't read straight through them. You have to solve them. So that Abraxas, which is the light, has to be awakened. And your lamp, okay, which deals with your spark, which is the soul, has to be lit. Okay, and so the reason why Christ spoke in parables, because only those who have the divine spark that can reach and tap into the Christ consciousness is the only ones that can solve these riddles. It takes a certain level of thought interpretation to be able to break these things down. It wasn't for the many, it was only for the few that carries the light, which is the soul. So now let's go a little bit deep, because I ain't been on here for a while. So let's do this. Understand, based off the Gnostics, Abraxas was one of those that was in the pleroma with Sophia. Sophia also is considered as the younger Eon. So Abraxas is the one who had to come here, which is your Christ, that had to come into the flesh, right? To be a light which is your gnosis, which is the word, which is the knowledge, which is the prophecy, to awaken Sophia. Because understand, Sophia got trapped down here in the physical as well, and that represents the soul. We're talking about different aspects of the soul. Abraxas represents the soul, but he also represents the Christ consciousness, which is the gnosis that had to come here to be a light to her, to the soul. All right, because keep in mind that Sophia is the analogies of the soul, to awaken the soul. Okay? That's what it is. Abraxas is on a rescue mission, which is us, okay, to come and awaken Sophia. Who is Sophia? The soul. It is the soul. Keep in mind, Sophia is an analogy of the soul. Abraxas is the word that became flesh. He represents the Christ consciousness. He is your Christ. Who is Christ? Christ is feminine. It is she. It's still all aspects of the Great Mother. Just different aspects of her, which is you. Peace to all of divine primordial deities. Now let's get into this. We are going through a major shift right now, and that shift is being manifested through the chosen. When Christ told y'all to pay attention to the signs, he was talking about the zodiac signs. And who is the zodiac signs? We are. We are your Libras, your Pisces, your Aries, your Geminis, and so forth. The signs is going to manifest through the chosen. They're not watching the sky, they're watching us, which will determine on how much time they have left. And as you can see, they know that their time is up. Christ also spoke in parables, and he spoke by 4 seasons. And he told y'all, he said, when you start to see that fig tree spring up, know that the kingdom of God is near. Let me break it down. What that parable was saying was, when you start to see our people rise up, know that it is game over. What that man Rodney did was send a clear message across the whole board, which sent out a whole message to this entire system that the gods is here. Our energy different and we are different, and they know that. This is why they was trying to intimidate that brother, but he held his head up high, just like a God's supposed to. Keep in mind, they don't look at us as individuals. They look at us as a whole. So when one gets sparked, it creates a domino effect. And that spark turns to a flame, and then it turns into a wildfire. He just did what any father deep down inside been wanting to do, but just didn't have the courage to. But Rodney just sparked a whole new flame inside the masculine. He matched energy, which is what they was not expecting. But see, if we would have been matching energy a long time ago, we wouldn't be dealing with what we deal with now. But because the energy is different, and we are different, and the gods is back, we standing on business now. It's like the Bible told you, is it not written in your law that ye are gods? Stand up, O gods, and judge the nations, or die like mere man. So it is in our description to judge righteously, because we are the gods that's doing what God's supposed to do. The court system is a fraud, and it's primitive, and it is corrupt, and it must be judged too. When have we ever got our justice like we deserve here in America? Quite frankly, worldwide. Our people are tired. We are tired. They knew this day was going to come. They just didn't know when we was going to get tired and not give a fuck. And see, that's the carbon man and the carbon woman that they fear. They know they done sparked some shit. And they wasn't expecting this kind of clapback. Normally, it'd be the women that have to deal with this. Their babies getting killed. It don't be the father that have the front row seat. This just lets you know how we're in a shift right now. And they are testing the masculine to see where he's at. And he sent a clear message to their ass. Oh, we matching energy. And the gods is here. And we standing on business. Y'all ain't gonna keep on hurting our children and thinking y'all finna get away with it. Because once one of us stand on business, it becomes a domino effect. And that's what they are fearing right now. The sister over in Detroit, who they call the John Wick of Detroit, she took them brothers out, shot them all in the head. They said it was all headshots. She tapped into her powers. That lets you know that she tapped into her equalizer, which is neuromelanin. To hit them all like that, headshots, that ain't number neuromelanin, baby. Because see, when you tap into that fight or flight mode, it taps into the dopamine. That dopamine triggers your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland, which activates your pineal gland, which is the bridge to your power. So y'all, this is a major shift. We here. And let me tell you something. They've been waiting, waiting for this clapback. Because keep in mind, they don't look at us as individuals. They look at us as a whole. So by him doing that, that represents us all. So they know what time it is. They know where we all is at right now. They know that. We done had enough. And they know that it's game over. But I will leave you with this. This is a war that they're not going to win. They're not. And let me just say this. Christ told y'all, when y'all see that fig tree springing up, which means our people, once they start rising up, it's game over. Keep your heads on a spiritual swivel. Understand what time it is. Because the shift is happening, whether you are shifting with it or not. We here. Schumann resonance has been going off the charts. The energy has been tense. The atmosphere is continually to get denser. The sun is popping off. Gamma rays hitting us from left to right. Both celestial bodies is doing what they need to do from the moon to the sun. It's activation time, and they know this. So this is a sign that brothers into this entire system. But don't be surprised if this sparks chaos everywhere. Because now they eyeballing all of us. Because now they know we ain't finna play with them. And get straight into it. Trump is trying to build a golden dome. What does that put you in the mind of? Now let's get deep. The Anunnaki needed gold to repair their atmosphere. Because why? Their atmosphere was dying. And what happens to an atmosphere that is becoming depleted and is starting to what they call die? It becomes unstable. Now, remember when I told y'all that our atmosphere is shifting, which means that the electromagnetic field is changing and the atmosphere is charging up? And what plays a role in that? The sun. And when the atmosphere becomes unstable, those who do not have the mark of the beast, which is carbon, will become eliminated, because the sun is going to take out many, and I mean many. There will be deaths on top of deaths. History is starting to repeat itself because Trump is doing what the Anunnaki did before. Y'all think that the Anunnaki has left. The Anunnaki has always been here. This is why they're trying to pull what they did before on their last planet, or what they call planet Nibiru. They needed the gold because the atmosphere was becoming unstable. And when that happens, shit heat up. It means that they couldn't withstand the sun. But y'all can keep thinking y'all the Anunnaki though. Let's go. What does gold do? It reflects, which means that we, which is the carbon beings, the chosen ones, will not be able to receive the full sun or the full moon because they're going to have us inside of a dome, which is going to cause all type of mental illnesses and sicknesses because we need the sun and the moon. This is why they want to block out the sun or dim the sun, because the sun is killing them, which is your earthly creation, which is your Gentiles and the heathen nations. See, they are up against a race, against the sun, and us getting our powers back. And they're trying to stop us from getting our powers back and trying to stop or save the little bit of atmosphere that they have by creating this dome, this golden dome, as they see that our atmosphere is starting to become unstable, just like how it did on Nibiru. So they're trying to create this dome, golden dome, before it fully take effect, by trapping us in here, stopping us from receiving the sun and the full moon, from us getting our activation. They think they slick. This is why Trump stated that he got 3 years and it should be created within the 3 years. But they might not make it to 3 years because our atmosphere has completely shifted and it's completely charged up, and the electromagnetic field is different. Which means, I said this before, it's going to come a time where they're not going to be able to rule on the surface. Why? It's because that atmosphere is going to be different, which is going to be unstable, which is good for us because that means that it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. But for them, that hotter and hotter kills them because they don't have carbon, or what you would call the filter, which is the pineal gland to filter out that radiation. And they don't have the internal, which is carbon, which means that you're going to have spontaneous combustions and people frying like vampires in front of the sun and getting burnt up rapidly at a fast pace. Everybody keep talking about, oh, the Anunnaki coming. What y'all got to understand is the Anunnaki is already here. They are in disguise. Where you think they get the bleaching of the skin from? A lot of them look like they are white, but they're not. They are melanated people. Okay? And they're hiding behind the disguise of white skin, but their bloodline been on the earth the whole time. This is why they're trying to repeat what happened on Nibiru here, because they can't take the damn sun. But y'all can keep claiming y'all the Anunnaki though. So whoever they saying that's coming here and talking about, oh, it's the Anunnaki coming. No, it's not the Anunnaki. It is the Titans, which is our sisters and brothers, that's coming to help us. So this dome that they're creating that's going to have weapons on it or whatnot, they're trying to stop them from coming here to help us. They are our help. So the dome is to try to keep them from getting in and to try to stop us from getting activated. So the Anunnaki ain't coming nowhere. They already here. The ones that is coming is the Titans. Why you think the Anunnaki came over here across the ice wall looking for gold? Who has the gold? We have the gold, which is the carbon beings. This is why we must go through the magnum opus to change the 7 base metals into gold. That's your carbon. If they were us, why do they need to come over here and get our gold? The gold is you. And it also stated that the menstruum, which is the period blood of the divine feminine, they call it the gold because it secretes the same things that the pineal and the pituitary gland secretes, which help them reach higher states of consciousness. This is why the Anunnaki were eating or drinking the menstrual blood. We don't need that because we already possess the power to reach higher states of consciousness. We are the beholders of the carbon, which is the highly advanced technology. But y'all can keep calling yourself the Anunnaki though. If the Anunnaki was the original, true, ancient ones, why do they need our gold? Why do they need to come over here and take our carbon? The gold is in the carbon beings. They will use it to reach higher states of consciousness. We don't got to do that. We are the beholders of it. But y'all keep calling yourself Anunnaki. But I'm not claiming that. We are your Titans, which is based off the Hinduism myth. They are called the Asuras, which is called the demons or the monstrous beings. We are your Dark Lords or your chaos beings. Demon is just another word for carbon. Demon means noble spirit. Aleister Crowley taught y'all that. Go read up on it. And based off of the Hinduism myth, the demons was considered the supreme ones, which is the chaos beings, and the gods was the lesser beings. So technically, we ain't the gods. We are the divine primordial deities. And a lot of times I have to keep reminding myself that. Because it just sounds good to say God. But when you find out that God is the lesser beings, it really make you want to rethink using that word. I understand Tiamat had a consort named Kingu, and Kingu was given the tablets of destiny, which he was given the supreme authority over the gods, which was the Anunnaki. Tiamat created these demons or monstrous beings, which is your Titans, which is us, to combat the Anunnaki and to go to war with them. And Kingu was considered as the lead or the head of the army. The Anunnaki is our enemies, and the Great Mother created us to go to war with them, protect her. She created a negative, so she had to create a positive. The Anunnaki is your negative. The Titans, which is who they call the demons or the monstrous beings, are the positive. They had to create a balance. The demons are who you would call your chaos beings, which is us, which is your Titans or your Typhonian, Draconian people that is here on a rescue mission to rescue the Great Mother. And this is why we must awaken, realize who we really are. We are the Dark Lords and the chaos beings, which is the Titans. We are not the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are your enemies. This is why they're trying to create the Golden Dome to save the atmosphere here so that they can stay in power. But we need the atmosphere to become unstable because that's what gives us our power. So understand they're trying to repeat history by creating another Golden Dome like how they did on Nibiru. Because once this atmosphere become unstable, it is game over for them.
Allah was a demon.
And speaking of,
I'm keeping it real. Allah was a demon. It was 7 gods, and they took one. They voiced from them. I'm keeping it real, gang. You don't believe me? Allah is a fucking demon.
Allah's a demon.
Yeah, I swear to God on my mama.
Now, you calling Allah a demon, but you're not breaking it down. So let's talk metaphysics. Who is really Allah? Allah is you. Allah means arm, leg, arm, head. Allah is an acronym for the human body. Islam means I, self, Lord, and Master, which means that you are the deity that you seek. Now, many of these religions are completely backwards because they're teaching you to look outside of yourself, when in actuality, it has always been about you because you are the master. The Kaaba that is in Mecca is a black cube that they worship in Islam. Let me break it down. The black cube in Islam is considered the house of Allah. Now keep in mind that Allah is you, and it is the acronym for the human body. The black cube represents the black man in the black woman's body. The cube is the carbon body. So they're worshiping the black man in the black woman. Who is the ancient ones? Allah has always been us. The Kaaba represents the carbon body. So when you say that Allah is a demon, 607, you ain't breaking it down like it need to be broke down, because we know that carbon is called demon, and demon is just another word for carbon. So understand that evil is only based off your perception. And evil backwards means to live, which means to be in the physical body, to be in the physical form, is considered diabolical, because the physical body is a trap that traps the divine spark, which is a prison for the soul, which you call demon, because the soul is carbon, and carbon is what they call the demon. And demon means Damien, which means noble spirit. And based off the Hinduism myth, we are considered the Asuras, which is the Titans. And the Titans is anti-God, which means that we ain't gods. We are considered your supreme demons, which is those are the beholder of the soma or carbon or melanin. And demon also means chaos beings. We are your chaos beings. So understand that evil is all based off your perception on what evil really is. Because understand, we live in a backwards world. Everything that is good is bad, and everything that is bad is good. So keep this in mind. All of the gods that they are saying is good is really the evil ones. And all the ones that they are saying is evil is actually really the good ones. Now keep in mind, in the ancient times, during the 1st century AD, all the demons, whether good or bad, were considered as a single class. Follow me, because I'm taking you somewhere. Meaning all the angels that you see in the Bible, that is of biblical mythology, and simply came to replace the demons as the spiritual supernatural beings that interacted with men. And understand, Christianity created the myth that all demons were considered evil. So keep in mind, all of these angels that you see were originally demons. And based off the Hinduism myth, the Rig Veda, we are the Asuras, and the Asuras are considered the supreme demons, which are your Titans. And Titans means anti-God, which means we ain't the gods. We are supreme demons, and we are over the gods. We are the Titans. And the gods are the Anunnaki, which is our children. And keep in mind, they demonize the demons, which is the noble spirits, who is the beholders of the carbon. Keep in mind, carbon is considered a cosmic technology, also a cosmic intelligence that we have, which is what makes us supreme, which is the ancient ones. So keep in mind, y'all gotta get out of that spookism in order to get to the realism, because it ain't what you think it is. It's always the total opposite. To speak on the atmosphere and what I mean by when the atmosphere changed, it is game over. Now, we all know what's taking place over there in Portugal and Spain. They stated that their lights and power is out due to an atmospheric phenomenon. Now, if you have been following me, you know that I have been talking about this atmosphere, and once again, when it does, it is game over for the powers that so-called be. Now, what I mean by the atmosphere changing, I am talking about the electromagnetic force field changing. Understand, we are standing at the threshold and we are getting ready to head right on into this thing. As that electromagnetic force will change, we talking about they guns, they bombs, and the chemicals that would normally ignite in this atmosphere is no longer going to ignite. Once that electromagnetic force field charge up, it's going to disrupt and prevent them from working, which means they're going to go back to square one, because then the atmosphere is going to be a complete new different atmosphere. And the only ones that's going to be in charge in this atmosphere is those who carry a certain amount of carbon in them. And this they know, and this is even prophecy. Those who do not have the mark will not be able to sell or buy. The mark is what's going to save you when this shit hit the fan. Those who have carbon is going to have seniority over everything. You see, why they feel all bad and powerful is because, see, they got guns and weapons. But see, when this atmosphere shift, and it will, and it is happening now, none of that's going to work. So who going to be the bitch then? Who going to be the weak ones then? Because see, the only reason why they feel like they strong and that they are in power is because they got their weapons backing them up. See, once all of that stuff become obsolete, we get activated. And that's when we fully come online, when all of this shit shut down. What y'all got to understand is that electricity is a negative energy. And when it is too much of it, it can become harmful and dangerous to us. Look around you. You are surrounded by electrical appliances 24/7. Everywhere you turn is electricity. Even the unseen, the frequencies that hit you, that is way much more harmful than the ones that sit in front of you. So too much of the electricity is suppressing your power. It can create an overload, and this is what's happening to us. We are being suppressed by the electricity. This is why once the electricity go out, we come online. It can even have a broader environmental impact, because too much negative energy is bad for you. So understand, once this grid go down and these electrical appliances shut down, we come into our power. Now, keep this in mind. Even though we can control these appliances and things around us because they have carbon in them, the thing is this: we are surrounded by too many of appliances. We are surrounded by too much energy, which is negative energy. It has to be a balance between the electro and the magnetic. And this is why we have to go through this transformation, meaning this atmosphere must shift in order for the Christ to return through the chosen. all of the divine primordial deities. Y'all already know what it is. I am not here for the dead. I am only here for the awake. Fly, let it fly. Now, so I hope that you are going to be able. You ain't going to hear this nowhere else. And divine insight on the Anunnaki and on Tiamat and on Kingu. So pull up a chair and let's get into it. Tiamat. Who is Tiamat? Now you have everybody talking about Tiamat is the earth. But if you read clearly with divine insight, you will see that Tiamat is not the earth. She is the primeval waters. She is the waters of chaos. She is also called Namu in Samaria, which Namu is the primordial waters, which means the mother of all. She is the dragon. She is Leviathan. She is the sea dragon that moves upon the face of the waters that was spoken of in Genesis. She is also called Typhoon. She is Apep in Egypt mythology. In Greek, she is Chaos, the goddess Chaos, which everything started with chaos. She's also called Typhoon, who was defeated by Zeus, the monster. Tiamat is spoken of through all mythology as the antagonist or the monster or the beast. That is the matriarch, which is the great mother. The Typhonian and Draconian realm is the realm of the mother and the son, which is one of the oldest concepts of God. The patriarch, which is the Anunnaki, have turned her and deemed her to be evil. And the Anunnaki is the ones who created the patriarchal systems to go against the matriarch. So in the stand, Tiamat is the key to this whole thing, her and her son, Kingu, King, the moon deity that is called Sandra in Hinduism. And understand that King is the name of a soma plant, which is a part of the ritual drinks that the deities create to bestow immortality upon them and to gain knowing. So understand, Kingu is none other than symbolic of the intelligence, which is chaos, which is what we are created out of. And the soma plant is the neurons in the brain, the synapses which transfer information throughout the brain that produces neuromelanin. That's why it's called neuromelanin, because the soma plant is in the brain. Tiamat is not earth. Let's make that clear. Tiamat is what gave birth to Ka, and Ka in Samaria means earth. Tiamat is not the mother of the Anunnaki. She is the great-great-grandmother of the Anunnaki. Let me break it down. Tiamat created the first gods from her and Amsu, which was Lamu and Lahamu. And from them, they created the second generations of gods. From that second generation, they gave birth to Anu, which is sky. And Anu represents the sperm, which is the physical seed, not the primordial seed. There's two Anus. There's a primordial Anu, and there is an Anu, which is the physical Anu, that bonded with earth to create the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki comes from Anu and earth. We don't come from earth. We were birthed from the waters of chaos. We emerged from the divine. And we carry the original primordial seed, which comes from the great mother, because she is the only one that can pass down that primordial seed, which is the divine seed. The divine feminine is the only one who carries the feminine gateway, which is chaos, that can pass the soul down, which is the divine spark. We, as the divine beings and primordial beings, which is the descendants of Tiamat and Kingu, because the blood of Kingu, which is Soma, the intelligence, which is chaos, is what the Anunnaki created humans out of, and trapped that intelligence within the physical body by combining Ka, which is earth, with the blood of Kingu. And this is why some of you confuse us with being the Anunnaki. All of the beings that originally existed on the planets, which is planes, were all Titans. This is even spoken about in the holy tablets of Dr. Malachi and also other ancient information. The Titans and celestial beings that rules the universe, not the earthly realm. The Anunnaki had dominionship over this realm because they was the earthly beings that was created from Anu, which is the sky god, which we're talking about the sperm. Anu represents the sperm, the seed, which also was a part of the physical element that connected with the earth element, Ka, to create them. We come from Tiamat, the original seed that was trapped within these physical bodies. So the potter in the clay was the Anunnaki, okay, taking the clay with the blood of Kingu, which is the intelligence, trapping us inside these physical bodies. So they was the potter, and the clay was the earth that they mixed Kingu blood with to create us, to trap us inside of these bodies. That intelligence. Now, understand that Dr. Malachi talks about the spell of Kingu, which is the spell of the Leviathan, that put us up under a hypnotic state, which a trance, and trance in etymology means to cross over. So understand, when they trap that intelligence inside of the clay, which is the earth, the physical body, it makes us Kai. We went into a deep sleep because that's what the spell was all about, putting us in a deep sleep. Because we wasn't physical beings, we was primordial beings. So moving from one state to another is what caused us to fall into a deep sleep, comatose state. And then they used religion, which was created by the Anunnaki, to further that sleep by putting us deeper into a trance to cross us over into oblivion. Tiamat granted Kingu the power and gave him the 7 tablets of destiny, which she gave him all the wisdom to rule the universes and the power to rule over the younger gods, which was the Anunnaki. The 7 tablets of destiny is the Akasha records that we have. That's where all the knowledge is within us. We was the ones that carried the staff of Tahuti, and the staff of Tahuti is wisdom and knowledge, which is the pineal and the spine. That's the staff. And we was the possessors of all the knowledge. Understand, a king cannot become a king unless he has a queen. Kingu is the king, and you can only be a king if you have soma, which is neuromelanin in the brain. And Tiamat granted him and bestowed that power upon him. She gave Kingu key to everything. The Anunnaki was never granted that power and kingship. We was granted that power and kingship. And this is why in Dr. Malachi's holy tablets, we are considered the disagreeables, and they are considered the agreeables. Why? Is because they are controlling the narrative, and they control the patriarchal system that produces the hate for the matriarch. So of course they're going to say they are the agreeables. Indeed, they are the disagreeables. And the only reason why we are the disagreeables is because we went against everything that they did, which was wrong. And we was protecting the matriarch. That is our job, to protect mama, which is our real mom, which is none other than their great-great-grandmother, not the actual mother. Marduk killed Kingu and created us out of that intelligence, to trap the intelligence into the clay, which is the physical bodies, which is matter. Kingu was never an Anunnaki. He was a primordial being of chaos. He was a deity. And Marduk, which is the Anunnaki, they stole our birthright and stole the Akasha records. This is why we must gain the knowledge and elevate, so we can open up the Akashas and get back the knowledge that was bestowed upon us, kingdom, over it all. So in all actuality, they are our great-great-grandchildren, whom we are going to war with, who stole our birthright. Understand, king is Kingu, which is the lunar god. This is why I've been trying to tell y'all we are the moon people. And king represents the celestial moon, because we are celestial beings, which Kingu is Luna. That's his other name, or her other name, because chaos, understand, which is we are chaos beings, the primeval sea, is none other than the feminine gateway. And they don't possess that power. This is why they wanted to trap it and utilize it for their own benefit. I'll be back with a part 2 for this.
This is how you know it was us first, Because before it was considered reservations, what were they called? Concentration camps. Before concentration camps, they were called labor
At the
camps.
Okeechobee labor camp.
Did we see any talking about? Were they on the plantations? No. These people are brand new. They just you put that out. The largest they're fighting for rights as foreigners. So because that has nothing to do with you. You're not a visitor.
Peace to all of the divine primordial deities when I tell you what a wonderful time to be alive. Now, let me share some things with y'all. We're going to skip the introduction and get straight into it. Now, the light sets over in Spain and Portugal just recently went off due to a major power outage. Now, if you have been following me and checking out my lives, this is what I've been speaking on. I've been talking about the atmosphere, okay? And how the atmosphere is going to start changing up. And this, they already know that. Now, based off of the cardinal points due to the equinoxes that occur, which is your summer, spring, and fall, and winter equinox, it shifts the energy on the earth. And we're talking about an abundance of celestial energy that comes in charge of the atmosphere. The reason why all of these planes is falling out the sky is because the atmosphere is being charged up. And they know that once this atmosphere change, their electrical appliances, their guns, their bombs, and none of this stuff is going to work. Now, y'all remember the movie where Black Adam called their weapons weak magic? Because it's going to come a time where none of those things are going to work. And they're going to end up back at square one. Once this atmosphere completely shifts, the carbon beings is going to return back to their power, meaning your X-Men, meaning your Superman and your Superwoman, meaning your Avengers, all of these different superhero movies that Marvel talk about, it is you. And once the atmosphere change, you're going to return back to your power. And you got a lot of people like, well, why haven't our people rose up yet? Well, we haven't went through our transfiguration yet. Why would we rise up and we don't have weapons? See, they have weapons. But when this transformation take place, which is already in process, their weapons will become obsolete and our powers will return. And that's when we act, is when our powers return, which is happening now. Now check this out. It says the lights were out in Portugal and in Spain on Monday due to major power outages, but the cause is still under investigation. It says while earlier reports suggest a rare atmospheric phenomenon, right? It says the Guardian reports that a loss of power generation possibly from a solar plant triggered a large oscillation in the electrical network, causing a grid to disconnect from the European system. This led to a widespread outage across the countries. Now, understand what oscillation is. It means a charged up atmosphere. It means the atmosphere is charged. And I've been telling y'all that this atmosphere is charging up. And due to the atmosphere charging up, okay, it also caused the gravitational pull to thinning. And this is why your planes is falling out the sky, which is a major sign that the atmosphere is changed and it will continually to charge up. Now, keep in mind, y'all see these movies when the last days occur, what'll be the first thing that happened? The planes start falling out the sky. What's the second thing? The rapture. What does the rapture mean? It is a Buddha word, which means PT, which means a rapture mindset, okay, which means euphoria, which means an individual that has an overwhelming feeling of happiness, but also means an individual that's operating at a high level of consciousness. That's a rapture mindset, a God mind. That is getting ready to take place in the chosen, the heavenly creation, not the earthly creation, which is your Gentile and heathen nations. This is why they're trying to eliminate us. Okay, they're trying to remove us out of everything. They're trying to get rid of our history. They're trying to completely get rid of everything dealing with us. That's like with the Smithsonian. They are also trying to remove our artifacts out of there and erase our history. Okay, they know this time is coming, and even dealing with the King Alfred plan of how they are trying to eliminate the so-called African Americans, that's still underway. They're still trying to do that. So what I gotta understand is they have been trying to eliminate for a reason, because they know once this atmosphere shift, it's only going to be a certain type of people that's going to be able to rule and live in this atmosphere, and it is the carbon people. Yo, I think this stuff is going on just only in Spain and Portugal. This is going to become a worldwide issue because the atmosphere is changing, and all of these appliances, even the grid, is going to eventually shut down because everything is getting charged up, even the atmosphere, and is prepping and preparing for the gods to return. This is why they've been building these underground bunkers. Also, remember a few years ago, they gave out to each state them little phones for people to talk to when shit go down the grid so that they can still communicate. They know what's getting ready to happen. Keep in mind, and it's probably going to be fairly new to a lot of you, but the age of Aquarius did not start in 2020. It started in the 1900s and it ended 2030. So we're in the end game for Christ to return. And this is why the atmosphere is shifting and getting ready. And so should you. The powers that be know that it is coming a time where they're not going to be able to no longer rule on the surface. This is your Gentile and your heathen nations, the earthly creation. Not us, because we are considered your heavenly creation, the divine ones. We will have seniority. Now let me read off the scripture to you real quick. And no man might buy or sell unless they have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That is 666, which is a 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. The mark is carbon. And those who do not have carbon will not be able to rule this atmosphere. They will not have seniority. The power will be relinquished from them and returned back into the divine hands. Okay, and so this is what that is talking about. If you don't have the mark, which is the carbon, you will not be able to sell nor buy anything. And they know this time is coming where the powers will be giving back over to the gods, and their time of ruling will be over with. Keep in mind, they said that Christ will come and rule for 1,000 years. That time is approaching. And when that time is over, keep in mind that your heaven and earth will soon pass away, because this realm is only existing because of the gods. And once this is over and said and done with, everything is going back to the dark. Whether you
Okay, in short, like I've been saying this whole time, we are the dragon blood race. We come from Tiamat. Tiamat is the great, 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 great mother, original mother, creator of all mother, of the creator of alls. And yes, these great, great, great grandchildren are nothing more than Anunnaki, reptilian, demonic, evil ones who are against your great, great, great mother. And they thought they was done with her. No. And they thought that they could render her children, which is us, but they could not do that. And they've been trying this whole time. Peace and love, Keith. And you see that now we are on the rise. Because when all lights goes out, the Christ consciousness, not a person. You are the Christ person. And everything is coded. Everything's a riddle in that book. If you're not a scholar, you shouldn't read it. Go the book straight out. I'll tell you, so there's a G word. I said, well, there's a G word, because the G word is actually a lower. It's a pagan because it's lower. It's beneath us. We are primordial beings, primordial deities, originals, the one that created all of the planets. And what they do, they attacked our great mother, which of course meant also attacking us. They also thought they could have the earth, but see, the great, great, great a daughter, granddaughter, decided with the great mother. And now we have rulership over the earth now. And when all the lights go out, the super abilities, so Christ constant, the super abilities, 999 abilities, all come full on. You have all super abilities, and none of the weapons will work, nothing electronic work, no gun will work, no weapon will be able to work. And then we will find out who's boss, because on that day, they will know who the primordial deities really are, and who the great mother really loves. And that's how you decode that scripture when they try to say it. They will know. I won't even finish it because you know what I'm talking about. Peace and love to all you.